Now, back in the 90s and into the early 2000s, I got paid to do keyword search results. And I would tell people, and have successful results, I would tell people that you didn't need to pay for one of those over advertised algorithms to get your search results up. And I would handle it for them on a local basis. So I know how to do keywords. That was HTML 4.0. Those were the days. Much simpler time. So we thought. But I still know how to do keywords. One would think. But your keywords don't matter anymore. It's all about pay to play. It's all about the money. It's all about the shilligans. Every single time I make a broadcast, I type in a new series of tags, thinking I'll reach out, as one should be able to while live streaming, to different people searching for different live streams on different content, different topics. Well, based on my estimation, and the number of people that search and the number of competing products, at least that I'm allowed to be aware of, I should be gaining about 175 new subscribers per night minimum, just based on keyword searches alone. That's about 1,500 people searching, 760 to 890 of them clicking. Just because there's that few competing products, that's why I get those very close numbers. And about, up to even a third of those people. One would think optimistically, maybe even 2/3 of those people. Some who agree, some who just want to see what the fuck. I mean, how many people would just subscribe to this channel for the what the fuck stuff? But anyway, I just got done typing my tags, and I wanted to say that while I have the fair use thing up. Welcome to TheLostBegotten.
Dark skies over my head. Love, you know one day might be dead, but that ain't gonna be my head. Gonna it ain't gonna be my head. Oh, don't know, there's gonna be the day. Don't know it's gonna be another bad day. Don't you know it's gonna be another bad day? Don't you know it's a bad day? Oh, the Lord might shine on me someday, but today ain't that day.
Guantanamo Bay Prison is waiting for treasonous traitor Trump and Republican senators conspiring with treasonous traitors against the United States of America. Well said, sir. Well said. I do concur. Give me just one more minute, y'all. Apparently, if anybody saw a notification tonight, please let me know in the comments. All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the Lost Begotten live stream. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm hoping you're having a pleasant one. And if it's your birthday, happy birthday. I have Orajel in my mouth, and if I fuck up speaking, I have to play it off by speaking in funny voices. So get used to that if you're new to the channel. But anyways, tonight we're going to be talking about things and stuff. Definitely stuff and things. So let's get right to that after I tell you how my day went. My day did not go well. It's kind of going okay. Still haven't heard anything back on my mortgage application or pre-application. We're not quite doing a normal process, but it's kind of like waiting on trying to buy a house and hearing crickets. But anyway, so today, let me just pull up a cell phone video right quick while I talk and let you listen. I had a bit of an incident while I was trying to film a video. Does not take ownership. Get down. Can you hear those gunshots? Yeah, I was filming a video. Let me see if I find it. There's one more. Oh, there's a more rapid succession there. There's the video. Not exactly clear video. So yeah, had some drunk neighbors shooting at birds, like basically in my backyard. Got lost in the fucking woods or something. I don't fucking know. So that got my nerves pretty fucking bad, let me tell you. And just kind of seemed to take forever for the cops to get here and for them to like sort everything out, and it's just long and tedious. And that's all. But anyways, welcome Chris and Neville. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining each other. I don't know. What am I supposed to say? What Chris Hayes has is right before you there. All in with craze. Chris Hayes. Just skip the middle 2 fucking words. Should I tell you how or just bitter? How about laddie? All in with Chris Hayes, aka the Craze. October 30th, 2017. And he has, and I recommend that you see the full clip, so you understand the context that he wants to show you, because he's got his own little clever way of exposing it. I'm not going to show you his whole video. I'm just going to show you a clip of the interview in question that, will probably be making a lot of news in the near future. But massive credit. I gave Chris Hayes a standing ovation for this journalism. I cheered out loud. I did a Wayne's World Weird Out Worthy. That's how fucking brilliant Chris Hayes' work on this guy, especially in the interview. I know what you did, boy. You did good. Yeah, because Carter's maybe a little, and Chris could kind of tell, and got him a little bit off guard, and so off his game, if he has any game. I mean, the Russians thought this guy was a fucking idiot. I mean, they just loved using this guy. And really, like, if you go and watch, especially the full interview, I've seen the full interview back when it had first been posted. You can see why they wanted to use him. Just like Trump. You can see why they wanted to use Trump. Yeah, you remember that interview, Neville? It was fucking, like, it's just like, really? This guy? Oh, I might have talked, I may have, like, but, well, Chris Hayes just got done pointing out the fact that what you're about to see here, I'm going to show it to you, be patient, little baby bird, is just prescient. It's, he's either a relative of Miss Cleo, or, well, that possibility we will discuss after I play the video. Make sure I got the volume up.
Have the interest of really getting the truth out there. Because I think when the truth comes out, when Speaker Paul Ryan says the FISA warrant or the details about the Dodgy dossier and what happened and all those documents around that is going to be released, that's what I'm really excited about. I think that the truth will set a lot of people free.
Wait a second. When Paul Ryan says that all the stuff around the warrant and the dossier can be released, did Carter Page know what was coming?
Very interesting question, Chris. Very interesting indeed. So if Paul Ryan had a plan in advance regarding this particular issue, the FISA issue that we're seeing playing out today with the news of the nuisance memo, the Nunes memo, the nonsense memo. That would mean Paul Ryan not only was aware of the collusion between the Donald Trump campaign and Russia, but was participating in an active conspiracy to cover it up. Okay? Because here's the deal. To say that the two are not interconnected is to say somehow that Carter Page is not a Russian turned agent. I mean, he's just a little Russian fucking beggar boy, and everybody knows it. Yeah, that's a pretty punchable face right there, Paul Ryan. It's just that little smug fucking look he has. Oh, he just needs some humbling, doesn't he? He needs some humbling. I was in such a bad mood earlier, I punched myself in the face. I guess that's why I always look humble. I probably caught myself in the jaw. Just because my teeth hurt, actually. I was telling my wife, you know, I had my jaw broken 2 times. This fucking hurts worse than that bullshit. The front of my wisdom teeth, which are impacted and way the fuck back inside of a bunch of crap. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was just gonna demonstrate that I was in my piss poor fucking PTSD mood earlier from the gunshots. So instead of demonstrating, I actually clocked myself. I'm like, whoa, like my fucking teeth clacked and everything. But instead of hurting, just to go, I mean, I've had this side broken 3 times and this one twice. It could be the other way around. I don't even fucking remember anymore. It felt better. Like it felt good. Like, you know, you can, I don't know if you can tell it by looking at me that I'm the kind of guy who does feel this way. But I can tell by looking at Paul Ryan that he's not the kind of guy who enjoys being punched. You know, that's just my opinion. Just people with that fucking smug, just I can do anything to anybody kind of, they've just never been punched. And that's something that's wrong with them. And, you know, maybe somebody should punch them in jail where they belong. So anyway, I was having some interesting little ideas earlier. and decided to put that as a premise in the title of tonight's stream here. And that is, what if what if Paul Ryan got fucked up the ass in prison and we heard about it on nightly news? What would his church congregation think? Oh, damn. Anyway, no, what would happen if Donald Trump was asked to surrender himself to the FBI? What if a warrant, an arrest warrant, was issued for Donald Trump on the accounts of obstruction of justice, conspiracy to obstruct justice, conspiracy against the United States, racketeering, and money laundering? Okay? 5 counts. And if you don't have those 5 counts, Mr. Mueller, you haven't done your job. Now, you'd get a gold star if you added international and domestic crimes to that. But, with the T word. And that's mostly considering the whole Larry Silverstein Trade Center connection that nobody seems to want to talk about, especially the 9/11 was an inside job crowd that happens to be funded by Russia, just like Trump is. Larry Silverstein is Trump's best good friend and real estate lawyer. And when you want to buy a property and you don't want your name on it, you buy it through your real estate lawyer. Real estate lawyers themselves don't generally buy property, so one must ask the question, who was Larry Silverstein buying the Trade Center for? Probably the guy who you're usually fucking poison. Donald Trump. There's no list. It's just him. Two years earlier, he worked for a company, and then a couple of years or a year later, he he didn't have it. He worked for another company, and then he started his own firm. Anyway. But it was an adjoined Silverstein and somebody else fucking real estate law firm. Anyway, I was looking up the business history. Not fresh though, so I don't know why the fuck I'm thinking I should talk about it like I fucking remember it. Sorry. But anyways, it's fascinating to look up. It's fascinating to look up, and you can find plenty of bios on the the series of tubes here. Well, but no, I don't expect that. I expect maybe that to come up after he's already in jail. Okay. I fully expect him to go in jail. I mean, do we just let fucking democracy fall, or do we put the motherfucker in jail? It's a hell of a show to watch, but I can tell you one thing at this point, I think I was dead wrong about. This is not a fucking sting operation, that's for sure. This is getting down to the fucking wire here. This is very close to the end of democracy. So, sorry if I gave anyone false hope. I know I certainly stated as much with an air of skepticism. But I just wanted to officially announce that if you didn't notice, that fucking theory's been canceled for a while. Oh. So, feel free to comment if you have any little hypothetical scenarios how you think it might play out. I did not prepare a pre-calculated, story. I don't have any kind of premeditated narrative. No, I just want to think about it in real time and discuss it. Not have the camera pointed the wrong way. There we go. Ooh, my Saints shirt. Kind of like a Ghostbuster shirt from right there. Okay, this is not fucking working out. Alright, that's good enough. With my foot, so I'll have to set up again. Why? I don't like it at that end. Anyway. Sorry. So. Just imagine waking up one morning. Breaking news. Wait, no, they don't do that anymore. This is Wolf Blitzer, and you're in the Situation Room. Okay, no, that's not really how he talks. Sorry, Wolf. Your name is a species, huh? That's fascinating. Also a verb referring to the voracious consumption of food. To wolf. Like, like Stormy Daniels did Trump. To wolf. Anyways, so you wake up one morning and there's breaking news, and they've got like cameras pointed at the fucking White House. No, wait a minute. They wouldn't be pointed at the White House. They've never had. They've got cameras pointed at Mar-a-Lago, and they say the Department of Justice Special Counsel Robert Mueller has just issued an indictment warrant for Donald Trump's arrest. They have asked him to turn himself in. We're receiving word right now that among these indictments may be conspiracy against the United States, money laundering, obstruction. Oh, they're going to start with the obstruction. You know how they love their obstruction of justice. Oh, they're going to start with the obstruction of justice. Because, the difference between a fear bar lawyer and somebody who's going to risk their career to fucking do something in the system is whether or not they rely on precedent to make their arguments. See, when a lawyer relies on precedent to make their arguments, they make money. When they don't, there's a possibility that they're going to lose their cases. And being as most of the pundits and news hosts have access to primarily lawyers to talk to, they wind up, you know, consulting about what things they can and can't say, what accusations they might be, you know, possibly later held accountable for. Like, you know, this is a vlog, okay? I'm literally just trying to be your favorite crazy person here, okay? You know, I'm not going to be held accountable for anything I say, okay? That's preposterous. You know, this is a fucking comedy routine / news show, okay? But these people who do reports, okay, they have to be serious all the time. They have to abide, especially MSNBC and these people, they have to abide by FCC regulations and shit like that. And they can be, you know, sued for slander and libel and shit like that. So they talk with not only the political strategists and the historians and the people who were, you know, in the White House and in Congress for the past 20, 30, 40 years, but they're also talking to a lot of lawyers. And the lawyers love their precedents, man. And this whole collusion thing, the reason why everybody likes to talk about it is because it's got precedent with the Nixon case. So as long as they're talking about that, there's just no possible way that a legal argument can be made that they're instigating or slandering or anything like that. Plus, they have a very high likelihood of being right when it comes to that kind of logic, because first and foremost, when you're gathering evidence, when you're trying to make your list of charges, you're going to go with the easiest stuff to get. Okay? You're going to get that there, and you're going to make sure you got a pin in that person's tail. And then you're going to do everything else that you can, as long as you know that pin is in that person's tail. Okay? And if it looks like they're about to break free, that's where your list of charges ends. Now, right now, with this Nunes memo, Donald Trump sure as hell thinks he's got his tail loose from that pen. But what we might see breaking news. Department of Justice Special Counsel probes Robert Mueller as this yearly report that Donald Trump's arrest and asked him to turn himself in to the FBI. You think he'll do it? Huh? You think he'll do it? I think that, first of all, I think it might actually happen while he's at the White House. Because I keep just picturing that. Maybe it's just because of, I don't know, standardizing his location. Maybe it's because I know what the Oval Office, I mean, what the White House and all the offices within it actually look like. And I'm not really that familiar with Mar-a-Lago at all. So I couldn't pick it out from any similar looking resort. You know, I think it's like beige. Like I don't fucking have the first fucking clue what it looks like off the top of my head. I'm looking at a lot of houses lately. It just doesn't stand out anywhere. So let's have this story at the White House. So he's in there sweating bullets, pissed off as hell. And man, people are going to be running and hiding. And the cameras, they're going to be trying to zoom in the windows and shit, just seeing like commotion happening. He's going to be getting madder and madder. Every person he runs around and talks to is going to be just beaming through the White House. What about you? Are you going to go along with this FBI shit? Talking to every single member of the Secret Service. One by one, Donald Trump himself is going to belligerently harass members of the Secret Service. An hour goes by. He still hasn't turned himself in. He's exhausted. Well, he's been resting for 45 minutes, but he's exhausted. 15 minutes of that, he was trying. We have breaking news. Special Counsel Robert Mueller has issued a time limit of 11 a.m. for Donald Trump to turn himself in to the FBI. I don't know why that was Dan Rather all of a sudden. It didn't start that way. It just kind of became Dan Rather. Anyway. We should have just turned around. I'll stop because that just got horrible all of a sudden. Not that it was that good. So, now their pressure's really on. First, it was just, let's make this statement, see how it reacts. And then they call a press conference. They take questions from the court. They go into detail about the individual charges. Now the reporters, all the news, an hour and a half into it, all the news is talking about this list of 5 charges. And the reporters keep asking each other, does this mean that a president doesn't have to be impeached before they're arrested? Well, different warehouses. Different little houses made of letters. Different little houses made of letters. They're different words. Impeach and indict. To impeach, stop to indict. And if an impeachment hearing is trying to sentence someone, well, we've got kind of a weird thing going on there. Because impeachment is for, says it right after, impeach and remove from office. So, to impeach someone to remove them from office. Founders could not be more clear that nobody is above the law. And if you commit a crime, especially a conspiracy against the United States, it doesn't matter who you are. It wouldn't matter if you were the Virgin Mary. Your ass is going to jail. We'll put a major in there. You can have your fucking baby. So Donald Trump's on the phone. Who do you think he's going to call? Ghostbusters? No. Steve Bannon? He's going to call Steve. Maybe he'll call Alex Jones. And Alex Jones is going to get on his live stream and say, we've got to get people to the White House to defend the president. Oh, that's hilarity waiting to happen. What do you think Fox News is going to be saying? I'm sure in Trump's mind, because this is basically how Putin plans things, so that's what Trump's been told. Yeah, get me out of here, Putin. But in Trump's mind, somehow Fox News is going to have propagandized enough law enforcement that he will somehow be able to physically defend the White House. See, the problem with that is most of the people who watch Fox News don't fucking work for a living, let alone work for law enforcement. Most of the ones who watch Fox News who work for law enforcement don't work for places like the FBI and shit. They work shift jobs and in prisons. Prison guards love Fox News. You know who else loves Fox News? Old people that stay home and don't do shit all day. That's most of your Fox News viewership. It's just fucking old, bitter old fucks. Okay? Most people, well, they fucking work for a living. Including most cops. And they don't got time, especially during the day, when this shit's gonna happen, to be watching Fox News. They're not gonna be sitting there drinking the Kool-Aid like Trump thinks they are. And every other person, every other reporting agency, every other news channel, every radio station is going to be listing the charges against Donald Trump. And the FBI is going to be at that point listening in on every single call Donald Trump makes. And they are going to be recording his calls to Alex Jones and to Vladimir Putin. And then they are going to raid the fucking White House and arrest him. And they will fucking drag him out, kicking him, screaming. That's just the way I want it to happen. But I hope you enjoyed that little story. I enjoyed telling it. I thought about maybe ending it with he grabs a gun and gets shot down. But I don't see him. I see him fucking throwing himself on the ground and flailing like a fucking 5-year-old. Anyway. So yes. From that point, speaking of Mr. Chris Hayes' wonderful story and the content therein, context therein. Well, there's a question of succession. Now you see, the reason why this probe is taking so long has been illustrated by the only really telegraphed actions that we've seen from the Mueller probe. Okay. And that is a sudden release of many indictments of many people. Okay. We're indicting these people now, and we've, by the way, already fucking indicted these two. We indicted this one guy way the hell back when, and nobody even knew about it. So what's going to happen on the day they indict Trump? What's that signal sending? Well, let's see, shall we? What we basically have established is that even the NRA and multiple Tea Party supporting websites, or Tea Party type websites, and Facebook pages, etc., were being either paid for directly by the Russians or being assisted through the Russian, shill bot, echo chamber, false viral trending aspect. And I just thought of something I wanted to fucking make a whole video about earlier. I can't think about it. Do I think about that now, or do I think about what I was thinking about? Oh shit, can I think about what I was thinking about? Did I just forget what I was going to say? What was I saying? Something to do with Trump and putting pops and what's going to happen based on this warning is there's going to be multiple people. All right, you've got this guy basically nailed Paul Ryan. We already have a little bit of information that Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell. I thought Mitch McConnell would be easier to take down than Paul Ryan, but now with this little connection, no, there's something going on there. But there's been a lot of congresspeople that since the Tea Party have been involved with Russia. They've been involved with these different Russian organizations. And I have no doubt in my mind that Chaffetz and Gowdy both were directly contacted. Okay. They were too all up in it, and they just fucking both came out of nowhere with the Tea Party, and they're both just fucking, man. They were just bullshitting persecutors. It was like the fucking Inquisition. Like, I think about all the time, what if I'm wrong about Trump? I'm a very skeptical person. I always think about what if I'm wrong about something. Now with Trump, there are just too many goddamn ways to not feel sorry for him. But did you ever think, what if we were wrong about Hillary Clinton? You ever think, what if we were persecuting a woman who forgave her husband and stuck with him, and then sought to serve till the day she died. She was going to serve this country. And let's face it, there's no massive business empire that's going to benefit there. She was going to give her life. She had given most of her life in service to this country. You know? And you can marginalize her experience if you want to. But you're talking about a grandmother who goes to church every Sunday, who doesn't swear. Now, she might have taken some money to speak in places, but generally speaking, the money that she got for speaking went to two things: the foundation, other charities, or the foundation or other charities is one thing, let's just list that, and then the fucking expenses. You know, you hear about this money getting paid for a speaking event. You're not hearing about what the hell that speaking event actually costs to put together. Okay. They get paid separately by a large part, but there's still security details for that individual person. There's still the travel back and forth. You know, I'm not saying that covers it. But when you're talking about Hillary Clinton, you're talking about a couple $100,000, and there's a couple of incidences where it was like $1 million. I think. I don't even think it was that much. But when you're talking about Donald Trump, you're talking about billions of dollars. You're talking about the Russian Federation's mafia money movement around the world. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, the Clinton Foundation did a lot of good. And Hillary Clinton's speeches, especially with the ones she's been paid to do, they've progressed the American agenda. Okay? And that's not just, you know, like the difference between America first and globalism. It's mostly just about ensuring that prosperity happens without people going through corrupt and forceful means to get there. Now, the whole reason why Hillary Clinton was so hated is because she was the biggest threat to anti-democracy. Okay? Which means that she would have been the biggest benefit to democracy. See, when somebody is your enemy, and you're trying to pick a leader, and you've got someone that they don't like, and you've got someone that you like, they like, you want to pick the person that they don't like. Picking this person that the enemy likes, that's called siding with the enemy. Now, Putin had it in for the Clintons, both of them, back in the 90s. Okay. In fact, a lot of the Russian people did, because of Yugoslavia. Now, there was a lot of nonsense being discussed at the time, and it refused. And this is, you know, this is one of them things where it doesn't matter how many times people fucking tell me, I know I'm right. And I know it's just a matter of sheer laziness on the part of anybody capable of reviewing the actual evidence. Just a matter of sheer willful ignorance to stick with the conclusions that we made back in the 90s regarding the Lewinsky scandal. Because there was a single line of logic that, in retrospect, we must consider as necessary due diligence that we completely failed to take at a time. And it's just one simple consideration. And we had the answer to it completely wrong. And we were very naive to think so. And that's the Cold War was over. See, every time anybody suggested that it could possibly be some sort of Russian conspiracy trying to set up the United States president, and people did raise the possibility a couple of times. Oh boy, were they shunned. How can you say that? The Cold War's over. Was it? Really? Wasn't I just saying something about Yugoslavia, a former Soviet Socialist Republic, and kind of at one point the battle line itself? Oh. See, that land right there marks the end of the southern encroachment. And what they were doing at the time, I don't know how, if they just like reliving history or whatever. But they were causing a similar scenario to play out as occurred about 1,000 years before, or no, not 1,000 years before, about 600 years before, in which the Ottomans and actually at one point even Albanians too. It was Albanians all over again. Had invaded that area after sacking Constantinople. I know I really hate it when I start trying to get into history things that I haven't like reviewed because it's just fucking too difficult to. I'm not a fucking historian. I didn't study and memorize this shit properly, so I can't recant it to you. But around then ago, that fucking whole place where the Sarajevo, the Albanians, and all the ethnic cleansing and all that shit happened in Yugoslavia, the Serbians. That is like the old war avenue for like the Islamic conquest of Europe. And it was a very interesting dynamic. On the one hand, you have the local Serbians under the command of Milosevic. On the other hand, you have Milosevic's generals calling in reinforcements from Russia proper. And Milosevic even at one point tried to stop that. But Milosevic was basically, in some ways, forced to side with his own people. Because what is he fucking gonna do? Tell them to go fuck themselves? But I'm very glad to see that other people, since we first covered this, other people have in fact have been indicted and sentenced. That were these generals who were going to the Russian Federation for help. And these are things, these people are basically going to jail for things that fucking Milosevic was blamed for. He was blamed for all of it. But what it seems like, in retrospect, when you look at the surrounding series of events, you have a play involving two ethnic groups, their puppeteer, who at the time already could have been secretly commanding things, Vladimir Putin. And then you have NATO. All of this, okay, is a trap for NATO and the Americans, namely the President of the United States, Bill Clinton. Because not only is Bill Clinton a uniter and had been making inroads as far as sowing the political divide up until the point of the Lewinsky scandal, but they just kept talking about how his wife was a sharp cookie, Harvard law degree, civil advocate, now First Lady. And they thought, bad news. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen. We gotta stop this guy right here. We gotta make sure that doesn't happen either. Let's break them both. Oh, but the Cold War is over. Why the fuck are they fucking with Yugoslavia? Oh, the Cold War is over. Then what's with all the damn Russian trolls showing up starting in 1998? Man. What's with the Russian websites spreading propaganda that's just overtly anti-American government? Basically manufacturing content, both pseudo-documentarian and popularly spread fiction, helping it financially here and there, all over the place, just to make people paranoid of the United States government and of the CIA and the FBI. Oh, I got all in my rant. See what's going on. Take it easy now. But anyways, speaking of those bots, that thing I thought of earlier that I wanted to make a video on, I'll talk about it a little bit now. It's one of the things that's one of the major things that needs to be revisited by society at large, historians, the National Archives. The thing is, I've heard a principles stated by reporters, by people in the news, media, TV talk shows, and fucking even YouTube personalities, just fucking anyone you can fucking see, all accepted this same line of logic. The more controversial it is, the more popular it's going to be. Right? Okay. This phenomenon. This phenomenon has implications in how we talk to each other, and how we vote, and how we behave in traffic, everything. Now, what we can see macrocosmically is that controversial in this regard can also be defined as extreme when it comes to political, extreme left and extreme right. And it's been by and large those things regarding our political discussion, regarding our societal air. It's been these things, these extreme things that seem to trend that have affected us the most. Now, we've been kind of thinking this is just a result of, and like for years now, I've heard people talk about, oh, this is just a result of algorithms and programming. You just heard one rationalization after another as to why it was occurring. Well, we know now why it was occurring, so don't we need to take a look back at history and see what Americans really thought of things and see how much influence this shit actually had on us and see all the different things that it was interested in influencing us regarding, and seeing just how much we, as a country, think that is completely fucking wrong. Right now, we have not even looked into what we may not fucking know. We know that we've been deceived on a massive level, but we still do not yet know the truth. We haven't even figured out all the ways in which we've been lied to, let alone all the lies that have been told to us. Have we even begun to come up with a system for doing so? I don't think so. Pretty scary, folks. And there I come back to full circle. So like, really, am I going to have to like run for Congress or something? Fuck. Ooh. I make a good leader, but not a good politician. Like, compare me to Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton makes a good administrator. Probably a better administrator than I would. I'd make a good leader. Ideas, motivation, direction. Yeah. Hillary Clinton would have been a good administrator. Just pure fucking thorough competence and diligence diligently researched conclusions, carefully executed and calculated diplomacy. You know, Hillary Clinton would have been great at all of that. But we'd be in a race for who's worse at running for office. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, let me stop my speech right quick. I got a hawk a loop. My fucking body can't accept any kind of allergy. Anyway. Let me just stop in the middle of a fucking speech and cough up my lungs. Oh, wait, hold on, y'all. This is my train of thought. Let me grab a cigarette. Wait, that'll get me votes. At least fucking Philip Morris will have my back. Anyway. I'm praying for a candidate. I'm praying for somebody who's got IT experience, who's a history geek, who's a constitutional and legal buff, you know, who passed civics class, that kind of thing. Who can really prove to me how bad Russia would fucking hate them. Yeah. The more Russia fucking... That's why I wanted Hillary Clinton to be president so bad. That's why I'm just so fucking heartbroken every time somebody has that triggered fucking pre-programmed response. Oh, Hillary. Oh, I hate Hillary. Oh. You hate Hillary because Russia wants you to hate Hillary. I like Hillary because Russia hates Hillary so much. And I can see exactly why they did. How many statues of Catherine the Great are in Russia? How many can you think of right now? What statues can you picture in Russia? Now, move a little west. Picture some statues. What's the first one that you picture? The Virgin Mary, is it? Mother Mary? We don't have many statues of women here in America. I think it would piss some people off if we did. It's funny how most of those people in this country wind up colluding with the Russians. They like to give women pet rights just to flaunt them in the face of real democracy. But that's all. They want women to have a set role in life. Hillary Clinton did not know her place and would have been a very bad example. And there is another female leader which you can ascribe similar treatment retroactively that we've seen play out, in some fucking crazy ways. I mean, they really, really, really did not like Angela Merkel. It's not just about money, not just about power. It's about an extreme ideology, an ideology of power. And that's where the chauvinism plays into it. And in their ancient tradition, the fact is, they see women as being the root of movements like ours here in America. And what I think is the biggest thing that they don't want us to know that would cause societal unity, because it would start with sexual equality. Okay. One of the greatest things they've covered up in human history is something that this channel centers around. And that is the fact that, in my opinion, in my opinion, it's a fact, that the true Christ was essentially not even one person, but was in fact a pair of people, a pair of lovers. And that Christ, as you know him, was married, had a soulmate even, and loved her more than time can allow someone to describe. But I keep pushing time forward on that mind. It is through their controversion of this esoteric truth that God basically gave up his own life and became two consciousness, just so we can have what we have here. And the moral of the story is that there is no spiritual burden on women. It was not the earth being cursed for their sake. Chauvinism is inexcusable. The idea that women should not be leaders is preposterous. And it is one of the greatest causes of death and strife and genocide and invasion that the world has ever known. It's been going on for a long, long time. And I tried to tell everyone that with this channel from the very beginning. I tried to tell them what would happen here from the very beginning. I told you the two were related. I told you exactly how. And I told you would see that play out in reality. More than 2 years ago. So I hope that that playing out in reality, as I said it would, is enough for anyone watching this to think maybe Mary wasn't a whore. To me, she was a princess. And more pure than any of you this day. So pure, in fact, that she could perform miracles. She could even walk on water. It wasn't me. It wasn't he. But oh man. Men of power, men of greed, men of false might. Could they stand for that to get against? Anyway. Thanks for watching, y'all. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Hope y'all have fun. Click the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Y'all take it easy.
In my heart, and baby down in my soul. You, baby, you can't take it no more. No, I know I'm walking out that door the way you treated me too many times before. Right there with you. I know I gotta keep you by my side till the day I die. 'Cause baby, ecstasy is in my hand. Oh, when I'm holding yours in mine and walking in the sand. Oh, baby, you know it's fine. Oh, now you done piss me off. You ain't done something you shouldn't have done. Baby, I'm mad. I'm going on, oh, I'm going on.